Good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. I'm going to just take a minute to find this on my computer, and then we are going to get started. Where am I? Okay, it's always a relief when I see the little eyeball popping up. That means that things are working. And now I just need to find this on my computer. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why it's not showing up, but I see that there are comments, which means something's working. Just bear with me for a second. Phew, there we are. Okay, we are up and running. Good morning, Heather. How are you doing? How's everybody today? I have to admit I'm a little bit sad today. In case you can't tell, I should stand so you can see. I'm a Leafs fan, and I was a little gutted last night because the Leafs, they were up in the series 3-1, and then Montreal came back, made it 3-2, and then last night the Leafs were down 2-0. They tied it, went into overtime, and just like one giveaway, and Montreal won. So we're now going to a game 7, which I find very, very stressful. But I was a little gutted last night. So I am bleeding blue today. And so that's why I'm wearing this jersey, and I plan to wear it for the next 2 days. And just put out some vibes that will help the Leafs win and make it to the next round. So if you're a Montreal fan, we can still be friends. I love the Leafs, but I'm not like, I like everybody. So don't hate me if you're not a Leafs fan. And we're not going to talk all things Leafs today, but hello everybody. Hi Rita. Hi Heather. Good morning, Margaret Ann. Hi friends. Thanks for joining me. I've got my coffee too. That's why I was hopping on a little late this morning, because my coffee was taking a bit longer to brew, or at least it felt like it was taking longer. So let me tell you what we're going to be doing today. We're talking all things masculine cards. And this is by request. So over the years, I've had many people tell me that they struggle with making masculine cards. And I myself actually struggle with it because I really I like pretty things. I like flowers. I like sparkle. I like, frilly, fancy things. And so in the traditional sense, masculine cards don't necessarily lend themselves well to those kinds of elements. And so I decided to do a whole Facebook Live on masculine cards. So we'll talk a little bit about some tips for making masculine cards. And I don't want to perpetuate any kind of gender stereotypes. It's just kind of when I think about the men in my life and what they're into, and when I'm designing cards for them, these are some of the things I keep in mind. And so those are some of the things that I'm going to be sharing. Good morning, Laurel. I remember your name now, LD Crafted. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Sonia. Thanks for sharing, my friend. Sonia, you just jumped on, but I was talking about hockey. Are you a Montreal fan? If so, you must have been really happy with the outcome yesterday. Hello, Nicole. Hello, Brenda. Hi, everybody. Hi, Donna. Oh, hello, Teresa. Good morning, Maureen. Oh, thanks so much for joining me, friends. So, and I saw Barb. Hi, Barb. Did I miss anybody? Hi, Barb. My husband's out golfing this morning. So I've tried to convince my kids to work on homework while I'm doing my Facebook Live. And that's for 2 purposes. One is because they have homework, and 2, because I want to try and keep them off their gaming so that the internet works okay and that I can stick around here. Good morning, Caroline. Good morning, Renee. Thanks for joining, everybody. Okay, so yes, like I said, we're going to be talking about masculine cards. There was a special request to use the Handsomely Suited. This is a stamp set that came out in our January to June mini catalog, and it has actually carried over into our new annual catalog, but I'll be using some of the products from the January to June catalog because they're going to be retiring soon. And I think that they're probably really well suited, no pun intended, because that's actually the name of the suite. They're very well suited for masculine cards and can be used for women as well. So again, I'm not trying to perpetuate any kind of stereotypes. This is just the way that I design and see masculine cards, but please go with what, you know, kind of makes your heart feel good and what you feel kind of drawn to. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning. Oh, I'm sorry, Margaret Ann. I hope that it ends up working out. It seems okay on my end right now. Good morning, Sue. Hi, Janice. Okay, are you guys ready to get started? So tell me, did anybody watch the game last night? I'm interested in knowing, are there any hockey fans watching today? And if so, how did you feel about the outcome? The Leafs, I've been a fan since I was a kid, and I'm always hopeful that they'll make it through to the second round and third round. And of course, we've had some disappointments along the way, and last night was a bit disappointing, but I'm still hopeful that tomorrow they are going to win and move on to the second round. I'm like really, really hopeful. Yes. Oh, Caroline. Okay. You're a Montreal fan. We can still be friends. I hope you still like me. I still like you. But I'll be cheering the Leafs on. So we might not hang out tomorrow night, I guess, but hi, Sal. Good morning. All right. So let me flip the camera down. I will talk a little bit about some promotions, and then I'm going to show you lots of samples of masculine cards. And then we're going to create one that's a really simple one. And I always say this as a disclaimer. If you don't have exactly what I have to make these cards, take elements from it and then use them in your own card. So you can copy the layout, you can copy the color combo. You still like me too, just not tomorrow. Okay, that's fair. Hopefully there's no games next weekend when we're hanging out for Stamp Camp. Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera down. We'll talk masculine cards. I'm going to show you some things, and then we're going to get started with some crafting. And it's a simple card. Lots of hockey fans piping in here. Okay, Janice loves the Leafs. Heather, you were sad too, I know. Janice, your father-in-law, daughter, and son are huge hockey fans, and Toronto is their team. You didn't watch the game, but you could hear the cheering and jeering from the basement. We watched outside in our backyard. We have this kind of outdoor living room, and like it's our patio furniture, and we have a pergola and everything. So we took blankets outside and we're watching outside. I'm sure our neighbors were like, "What is that ruckus happening over at the Premgees?" We didn't hold back. Yes, Indy, I hope so too. Okay, without further ado, I know you guys are here to probably see some crafting. So let me flip this down and then we'll get started. Oops. Okay. Here we go. I'm looking into some software to actually make this an easier transition, and that way you'll be able to see my face and my hands. Oh, what is this saying? Hang on. Okay. Weird. I don't know why it was telling me to rotate my phone. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get some like good software so that this transition will be a little easier. So one day I might just shock you and it'll be so easy and smooth and you'll be like, what happened? What did she do? All right. Indy, you walked into your wedding reception to the theme of Hockey Night in Canada. Didn't know you'd still be waiting 18 years later. Okay, awesome. Okay. So let me tell you a couple of things that I say at the beginning of every live. First of all, if you're watching for the first time, thank you so much for being here. I'm Zara Premji, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Markham, Ontario, Canada. I've been a demonstrator for 8 years, and what I really loved about Stampin' Up! And becoming a demonstrator was the ease of creating quick and easy cards to send to people. I've always loved sending and receiving cards. So this fit the bill really well, and it also fit really well into my busy life as a mom and a full-time occupational therapist. And I also really love sharing it with others. So especially through this pandemic, we've grown like this fun little community here that we all kind of come and hang out during the Facebook Lives, and I share some crafting tips and inspiration and all that fun stuff. So I really, really love doing what I do, and I love that you guys come and hang out with me every weekend. And today is episode number 20, if I've counted correctly, of Coffee and a Card. So it's super exciting. I feel like it's kind of a milestone. I've done 20 consecutive Sundays of Facebook Live. So at the top of my grid paper here, you'll see this is my name. This is my email address. So if you have any questions, requests, you're looking for tips or ideas, please feel free to email me, or you can certainly message me on Facebook. I have a host code every month, and what that means is that if you place an order and you use this host code at checkout, you're actually going to get a free gift from me if your order is over $50. So you're actually going to get this month, if I can find it, hang on, I have them somewhere close by. You're going to actually get the Expressions in Ink ephemera pack. This is actually a team prize, so this one's going out to one of my team members, but I'll remove her name. So it's the Expressions in Ink ephemera pack. So you'll actually be getting this as a free gift from me if you place an order of $50 or more. This includes 6 sheets of these gold foil embellishments. You can't see the gold because they're flipped over, but you can certainly use the white as well. So 6 sheets of that, and then a whole sheet of adhesive backed sequins. So it's a great little embellishment pack. It's valued at $9.50, so you would get that for free with an order of $50 or more. This is my online store link, and then like I said, just place the pop that code in at checkout, and then you will get that product for me for free, as well as some tutorials and a handmade card. Okay, so let me tell you one thing. So our Join Plus promotion today is May 30th, which means there are 2 days left in this amazing promotion. And so just to give you a little bit of a sense, I did a card last weekend during Facebook Live, and I listed all of the items that were used to make that card. Now this is just a suggested list, but this is essentially equivalent of $206 in product, okay? So you can get stamp sets, designer series paper, essential tools if you want the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. If there's a whole suite that you like, you can certainly add that in there. So it's really you have $206 to shop. And then you also get a free all-inclusive crafting kit. And then your shipping is free, and in some provinces there's no tax. So the value of this entire bundle is $315 almost. You pay only $135, okay? So for $135 you get to choose $206 in product and get some other freebies, and the value of that is $315. You only pay $135 flat, okay? So this deal ends on tomorrow. So tomorrow's the last day to take advantage. So that's the Join Plus promotion. We have another promotion where if you place an order of $300 or more, you're actually going to get $60 in product for free. Now you don't have to do that all on your own. If you have a group of friends and you want to put in a group order, you can definitely get that extra free product and split it between you. So if there's 2 or 3 of you, you can split that $60 and be able to get some free product. Okay, so that's happening until June 14th. Now let's talk about what we're going to be making today. So I've got some different card samples for you that I want to show you. And because there was a request to talk about masculine cards, and hello, Elizabeth, this request came from you. Good morning, Natalie. Janice, what did you say? You're so glad they scored the 2 in the 3rd. Yeah, definitely made for an exciting game and stressful game. But yeah, it was great that the Leafs came back to tie it in the 3rd period. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about masculine cards. So I'm going to show you some different samples, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some tips, okay? Actually, I'll talk about the tips first. So when it comes to making masculine cards, the first thing that you want to do is to start by thinking about your subject. So who is it that you want to make a card for? Because generally that will be something that will help you kind of decide whether there's a specific theme or a color combo or, you know, specific elements that you know that person is going to like. So I'm obviously doing this today because Father's Day is not too far away. So June 20th is around the corner, less than a month away. So I'm making cards that are going to hopefully be helpful for people in designing their Father's Day cards. But obviously men have birthdays and they need encouragement and they need thank yous and all the things. So think about who your subject is first and what does he like? Are there specific colors? Do they have specific activities and interests? Do they like golf? Do they like vintage cars, fishing, barbecuing, beer, scotch, all of the above, because that's going to help you kind of decide what it is that you're going to want to use. So I'm going to show you a couple of suites that we have in our catalogs. So this is our January to June mini catalog. This runs until June 30th of this year. And there is a suite here that is exclusively dedicated to suits and ties and all sorts of fun kind of patterns. And it's called the Well Suited Suite. So this includes the Handsomely Suited stamp set and the suit and tie dies. So this is the stamp set. It's a red rubber stamp set that contains 9 stamps, and you've got some cool images. So there are ties and bow ties here, and then you've got some really great sentiments that kind of cover you for everything. So there's obviously Father's Day. There's happy birthday, there's thank you, you're the best. There's one that says to one of the world's greatest dads, which you could use, you know, not even just on Father's Day, but on other days as well. And so there are some really great stamps and images in here that will kind of help cover you through the year. And of course, the thank you and a happy birthday to you and you're the best, you could use for women as well, or kids and that sort of thing. Okay, so lots of different possibilities with that. Then there are these amazing coordinating dies. Good morning, Lise. Oh, Margaret Ann, I'm glad it fixed. Okay, and good morning. Oh, hi, Rita. Yes, go Leafs, go. Okay, then we've got these awesome dies, and these will actually these will help you cut out what looks like a suit or a shirt or ties or bow ties. And of course, if you have a really good imagination, you can kind of look at other ways that you can use these. I've seen people do scrubs for doctors and nurses. I've seen blouses done for women, all sorts of fun uniforms that you can do using these different dies. So there's a lapel here, there's a tie, there's some bow ties, a pocket, buttons, like so many different things that you can do here. There's even suspender clips to be able to create all sorts of different cards, okay? So when it comes to making masculine cards, and I'm going to use air quotes for that because, you know, again, you might have, I know my sons, they really like pink. So I would certainly make a pink, like a card with pink elements for my kids because they actually like it. My son actually for Christmas last year wanted bright pink running shoes. So, you know, again, it really depends on who it is that you're making cards for. But generally speaking, the colors that I tend to lean towards for masculine cards are things like brown, blue, green, khaki, gray, black, or kind of tan. And then in terms of elements, things that maybe have to do with nature or the outdoors, metals, wood grain, geometric patterns, different textures, concrete, that kind of thing is really good for masculine cards as well. So when it comes to actually making the cards, I generally tend to lean towards simple layouts, and you know that I love to use layouts in the catalog. So look at this one here, for example, where the background is just stamped with the tie, and they've gone up and down across, and then they've actually die cut the center here using the stitched rectangle and just popped it up on dimensional. So it just creates a really fun background. And then you can of course stamp your greeting and cut out a bow tie and just do things like that. This one here is similar to the layout we're doing today. It's a very simple layout. So I think generally for masculine cards, I tend to keep them a little simple. You can also do, you know, cut out a suit, which is really cool. And I'll show you some examples of that. Now, one thing I want to share with you is for the remaining time of this catalog, this is actually sold as a bundle, which means if you purchase them both together, you'll actually save 10%. And so the stamp set on its own is $29 and the suit and tie dies is $44. So together, if you bought them separately, it would work out to, let me do some quick math here, $73, okay? But if you buy them together as a bundle, you actually pay $65.50, so you're saving about almost $8 on that, okay? So this is a really good time to purchase it, and I think it's going to be something you'll definitely want in your arsenal going forward. The other thing, good morning, Tanya. Thanks for joining. Yes, you could make graduation gown cards. The possibilities are endless. So drop a comment below if you have some ideas for ways that you can use this well-suited bundle to make other things. I'll show it to you here in our new annual catalog. So we've got the handsomely suited stamp set here, like I said, and then it says it coordinates with the suit and tie dies. So it's no longer sold as a bundle if you wait until after June 30th to purchase this, okay? So if it's something that's on your wish list and you're looking to get it, I would highly recommend doing it so you can save the money. And here's a sample of a suit with the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. And then I told you my boys like pink, so that would be a really cool card to do for them. So, and my husband too, actually, he has some pink shirts. So let's talk a little bit about patterned paper. So when you're doing masculine cards, you can let your patterned paper do the heavy lifting, okay? So you could just put a whole sheet of patterned paper on your card and let that kind of be the jumping off point, and then just add in a simple sentiment, which I'll show you some samples of. So I just wanted to point out in our new annual catalog that there are some great papers that will allow you to do that. So the Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper, again, it lends itself really well to both masculine and feminine cards. The Bloom Where You're Planted, I made a card for my son for his birthday using this tropical pattern and made a shirt with that. And then we've also got, again, you know, I don't want to be limiting, so whatever kind of speaks to you, go for it. But we've got some other ones here. The In Good Taste, which is a returning paper, and then In the Wild. These would lend themselves really nice to masculine patterns as well. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to actually show you some samples, and then we will get started, and I'll kind of point out some certain elements of here. So this is a card that I got from my team member, Andrea, who I think is watching today. And Andrea, we had a masculine card swap for our team this month, and Andrea had used the Simply Succulents stamp set and die cut it. But you can see some of those elements in terms of the color. So she's used crumb cake here. She's used a painted texture embossing folder. She's used some paper from the In Good Taste. And then just the color tone is just very kind of neutral and warm. And so it makes a really, really good masculine card. And the greeting here says, you make the ordinary extraordinary. This is my swap card, and I'm using the new Beauty of Friendship stamp set, and I die cut the tree, and you can again just see the colors that I've used. So I use the bark embossing folder. This is from the Bloom Where You're Planted paper, and I just cut a strip of that, and then I heat embossed the greeting onto Evening Evergreen. So just a very kind of neutral tone color with some fun elements. No sparkle, no bling, nothing flowery on here, as hard as it was for me to not add anything. Here's one where I talked a little bit about letting your designer series paper do the heavy lifting. So I've just taken a full sheet of the designer series paper. This is the well-suited designer series paper. This is in our January to June mini, and it's actually going to be retiring in about a month. So I essentially just took a piece of that, and then I layered it onto a white scrap, and then I heat embossed the greeting. So this is a birthday card here, but of course you could make this a Father's Day card as well. And then I heat embossed the bow tie in white onto Pacific Point, which I just pulled the color from this background here. And then I die cut that using the well-suited dies, okay? For my embellishment, so generally for masculine card, you probably want to stay away from sparkly things like, you know, like rhinestones, and although you could maybe make rhinestones work, but as an embellishment, what tends to work really well is metal. So if you have any kind of metal embellishments, or matte. So these are the matte black dots, which work really, really well with this suite, okay? This one here is another swap card that I received. This is from a team member named Lorna, and she again also just took a piece of the designer series paper and die cut a couple of elements from the die set, and then used the greeting, a happy birthday to you. So this is a really cool masculine card. This is one here where I used the dies to actually cut out the shirt, and I heat embossed the sentiments. I really love this actual pattern. My husband, I feel like he has 7 shirts in this pattern. So this was a really cool shirt for him. And then of course I heat embossed and die cut the bow tie as well. Okay. And I used some texture embossing on the background here. This is from a team member named Dara, and Dara had done a really kind of cool fun fold card using the shirt and made it look like a polo shirt. Okay, and this is using our designer series paper pack in the in colors, last year's in colors. Okay, and then she did this kind of fun fold where you can stand it up like an easel. Okay, so really neat fold, really fun and very masculine. And she has used some rhinestones here in a dark blue color, which look really cool. Now this one's a little fancy. This is one that I had gotten in a swap recently, or maybe more than recently. And this one is also kind of a fun fold, or a gatefold card, where there's a belly band, which if you take it off, then you can open the card. And then you open it up, and then there's a space here to write your message, okay? So she's done some texture embossing here using the Tasteful Textile, which is a really good one for masculine cards, and then cut out a lapel for the suit, and put the pocket, and then the little pocket squares and the buttons, all sorts of fun little elements. So it makes for a really, really cute card, and it opens and you can still write a message on there. Okay, let's talk about the card that we're going to be making today. So as I mentioned, I'm using a very simple layout, and it's similar to the one that we saw in the actual catalog. And so I've already got my pieces cut out here, and so I'm just going to take those out, and I will show you how to make this come together. So I'm going to grab my bone folder. I'm using a piece of Night of Navy cardstock. And I've got 2 layers here. So this one here measures 3 3/4 inches by 5. And then my designer series paper here measures 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Okay, so I've just basically taken 1/8 of an inch off and then layered it just to add a little bit of contrast there. I'm glad that you like that, Elizabeth. Yeah, there's some really good different possibilities with this bundle. So hopefully that was some good inspiration for you. So I'm just going to take this designer series paper and lay this down onto my, whoops, hang on. Okay, that's stuck down, I think. Let's see. Can I salvage that? So I'm using Seal Plus, which is very, very sticky. So if you do make a boo-boo and you need to reposition, then just gently pull it up. If it's just stuck down, you should be able to get it off your cardstock, okay? So there we go. So I've got that, and I'm going to just stick that down onto my card base, okay? So like I said, I'm using the Night of Navy, and I'm just sticking that down there. Now let's work on our actual images. So I am using the dotted bow tie, a cut above. Which one is that? I have to think. A cut above. Sometimes I have such a hard time identifying stamps by their names. You'd think I would know it by now, because when we get a new catalog, I look through it at least, I don't know, 30 times. I'll have to look that one up. Okay, so we've got our little bow tie here. So I'm going to start by stamping in the middle, or what I think is the middle, just so that I know where the other 2 are going to go. Okay, so I'm going to stamp that here, and then I will stamp that one there. Okay, now it looks pretty good even on its own, but I do find it a bit stark. And so one thing I would like to do is color in the bow ties, and also to just create a little bit of splatter on the background. So I'm using my Night of Navy blends, and I'm just taking the brush tip and I'm just going to flick that against the cap. Okay, so I'm just going to create this kind of fun little splatter effect, just to maybe not have it so stark. And then I'm taking my light Night of Navy blend, and I'm just going to color this in. Now generally it's recommended when you're using blends that you use it with the Memento ink to prevent kind of smudging and bleeding, but this seemed to work okay on my samples, so I'm just going to go with it. So I'm just going to try not to go out of the lines. I'm on my second coffee, so I won't lie, my hands are a little shaky. But you know what? It's handmade, and so little imperfections give it character. So that was one thing when I first started stamping that I had to really kind of get past, was my need to have everything perfectly aligned and no mistakes. But you know what? I'm not a card store, and so my cards are not always going to be perfect, but they're always made with love. And so I got over that pretty quickly, because I was, at the beginning, I would actually make a card, and if I made an error, I would ditch the card and start all over. And so then what I had done so far was wasted. But now I've found other creative ways, like, you know, throwing a little embellishment or a gem over something. If something tears, you just kind of cover it up, or you can just redo one element. So if you are that type of person that feels like, you know, I can't handle the little imperfections or the mistakes, just kind of figure out a way to work around it so that you're not wasting your work so far. And just know that whomever you give it to is still going to love what you've given them and appreciate that you've made something for them. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I'll get off my soapbox about that now. I realized I forgot to put my AirPods in this morning, so I hope that you guys can hear me okay. I'm assuming so, because I've been seeing comments. Oh, the lawnmower guy. Okay, yes, I have seen that one. I don't have that yet, actually. And quite frankly, we have a service that cuts our lawn. So I don't think that would be something that would resonate with my husband. He's totally a suit and tie guy, because when he was working out of the house, he would be in a suit every day. And he would, yeah. So when I saw this stamp set, I was like, yep, that's him. All right, so there we go. That's kind of most of our card done. And I've already heat embossed the sentiment that says, to one of the world's greatest dads. And I'm going to punch this out using the Label Me Fancy, I think it's called. And I'm just going to punch that out. And so then I will have my sentiment already done. The other thing that I forgot to do is, actually, did I forget? No, I'm good. Okay, I need something for the inside. So because I'm using a dark card base, I definitely want something for the inside. So let me now stick this down with my dimensionals. And you know what you can do, especially for these kind of larger pieces, is just, if I grab my scissors here, you can actually cut strips of this and then just use the whole thing like that. And I might actually cut one more strip and just put it down the middle so that it doesn't sag in the middle. Okay, so I'm just gonna stick that down like that. So you want to definitely use up all of the little bits of your dimensional piece or your dimensional sheet, and then use it on your cards. I go through a pack of dimensionals a week, I think. I every time I place an order, I feel like I'm ordering more dimensionals because I use them a lot. They're fabulous and they're so cheap. They're only $5.50 for a package of 300. Okay, so I'm going to use the well-suited twine. So generally when it comes to embellishing your cards, I mentioned that I tend to stay away from things that are overly sparkly. So things that are matte or metal work well. And then as far as ribbon and twine goes, I think twine is definitely a good option, or some sort of a textured ribbon. So we have like the, what's it called? Let me see here. So we've got like our braided linen trim, or linen thread. We've had some other textured ribbons in the past. So those tend to work pretty well and are a good option for if you want to add some. I can't make a card without doing some form of embellishing. So all I've done here is I've put a strip of Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm just going to, where do I want this to start? So I'm just gonna lay this down here just so that it sticks. Okay, and then maybe go around here. And then, I don't know, we're just gonna give it this sort of tousled look. I don't know where I wanna go now. Let's see. How does that look? Yeah, that's not bad. You know what? It'll work. So I wanna stick that down here. Oh wait, that's a little saggy. Okay, hold on. Just gonna make this loop a little shorter so that it's not extending past the bottom of my card. And then I'm going to put that up on dimensionals as well. So let me see. I want it to kind of sit at the same level as this one here. But because I've got twine, that might make it a little difficult. Let's see. Let's see how this goes. So I'm going to put, maybe I'll stick a little piece of dimensional down here. And let's see how that works. We want it to stick to something, but not have it popped up too much. Okay, so that's kind of it. That's the card. And so see, I think sometimes we overthink. Oh, that's not the card. Hold on. We need the little strip for the inside. So I'm going to take my Seal Plus, and I've just taken a little strip here that measures 3/4 inch by 4 inches, and that's going to sit on the layer. So you just are creating kind of a fun little party on the inside. And then for those of you that don't love writing long messages in your cards, you could take up space with your DSP so you don't have to write as much. Hands up if you don't love writing a whole lot inside cards. When I was younger, I used to write like these long messages to my mom and my sisters, and even my husband. If I find cards that I'd given him years ago, I always have these long love letters inside them. As I've picked up crafting as a hobby, I tend to want to spend more time making the cards than actually writing in them. So this is terrible for me to disclose that online. The messages are important, don't get me wrong, but you know, if you have a little sentiment inside and then a little bit of, you know, DSP, then you can write still a nice message, but don't have to go on. I sound terrible. Don't judge me. Okay. So that's it for the card. And then you guys know I love to embellish the envelope. So let's grab some designer series paper. Is this, no, that's not long enough. Hang on. I do really like this pattern. So it's a floral pattern. So I know I had mentioned before that generally, you know, you might go with like geometric shapes and things like that. But I find florals are on trend for women and men. And I am a floral girl completely. And so I'm just cutting this at 2 inches by 6 inches. Okay, so that's going to cover the flap of my envelope. Heather, you are my people. Hello, Janice from Cornwall. Hi, Lorraine. Thanks for tuning in. We've done lots of chatter about the leaves. Oh my goodness, that is not long enough. What did I do? How did I cut that? What did I cut that to? Oh, I cut it to 5.5. Yeah, that's not what I meant to do. I said 6 inches and then I cut to 5.5. Okay, so I'm going to grab my liquid glue. I think the liquid glue kind of works the best for this, just because it allows you to get close to the edges, but you can certainly use, I've done it many times with Seal or Seal Plus, just a really thin line of glue. Isn't that interesting how it almost looks like a dotted line across the top here? I don't even know if you can see that, but the way that the glue turned out looked like a bit of a dotted line. I don't know. I didn't do that on purpose. But that's about how much you want, okay? You definitely don't want too much liquid glue, otherwise it's going to ooze out the sides and make a sticky mess. So I'm just going to stick this down. Can you see my hands shaking? Okay. You can also take, if you like have some time, you can take a large clear block and just let it sit like that, and then that'll just kind of make sure that the glue, everything kind of gets stick down. You could just rub it over it and that will help to keep it all stuck down. Then you want to go in with your scissors. Hello, good morning, Denise. You just want to grab your scissors and then just cut around the flap of the envelope. When you've had 2 cups of coffee, this is a bit hard to do. So you want to do this before you caffeinate yourself. I'm just kidding. It's not that hard to do. I'm just a little jittery today. All right, so just gonna cut that across, and then, you know, because I want to hang out with you guys and don't really want to leave, I can just add a little bit more stamping. So I'm just going to grab my bow tie here and then just do a fun little bow tie in the corner there. Okay, so we've got a nicely coordinated envelope. It's you know, like, look at that. Isn't that so cute? You could pick a different pattern for the flap, but I love florals, as you guys know, so I'm going to just throw florals on everything. And then we've got our bow tie on the front. So that is the card, and that's kind of my take on masculine cards. I hope that that was helpful for you. I'll bring in some of the other cards featuring this same set so you can have a peek at them. And then I'm going to take a minute to read comments to see if anyone has any questions. If you do want to order any of these products, you can do so in my online store. If you like the paper and you want to get a discount on the bundle, I would highly recommend that you order it now. You can even just get the whole suite, which includes the Twine combo pack and the paper and the bundle for only $90, I think it is. So you get the bundle savings, but this is going to be retiring at the end of June. So if you do want to get it, I would highly recommend you do it soon. And there are the cards, and I'm just going to set those up, and then I'm going to look at the comments here. All right. Yes, you need to start doing this to your envelopes. You know what, truth be told, when I'm making cards, I don't always remember, like when I'm just making cards on my own, but when I do them on Facebook Lives and I have my designer series paper handy, I tend to love to do that. Thank you, Lorraine. That's right. Who needs to write so much inside? Making a handmade card for someone speaks volumes all on its own. I agree. Thank you, Carolyn. Oh, yes, please do use it. And I hope that these ideas are inspiring for you. Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Denise. Oh, thanks, everybody. Yeah, everyone wants to stamp the inside. Okay, you guys are my people. I know that there are others like me. This one I haven't even written in yet. How terrible. I made this for my husband's birthday. And then I loved it so much that I kind of gave it to him, and I was like, well, I need to keep this in my stash. So I wrote his message on a separate piece of cardstock, which he kept, and then I took the card back. I know, I'm crazy, people. I'm like, I do the weirdest things. But anyway, I hope that you guys have enjoyed that. If you have any questions, please let me know. And yes, absolutely, go ahead and copy all of the cards or some of the cards. Would you like me to share? You know what? So Elizabeth, I myself didn't make the polo fold card. I can certainly ask Dara, or I can look it up for you on Pinterest and send that to you in a private message. You're so welcome, Sue. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed these. And you know, if you're like me, you probably really love to do like pretty things with florals and ribbons and things like that, but making masculine cards is super easy. And quite frankly, there are women that I would give some of these cards to as well, who just really like blues and whites, and you know, those of us that are leaf fans. So anyway, I'm glad that you guys enjoyed these and that they were helpful. And certainly if you have any questions or requests for further Facebook Lives, it definitely helps me when I know what you guys want to see. So just fire them in the comments or send me a message, and I will do my best to oblige. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye.